Are you a doctor, a surgeon, an RN, a PA, a nurse in medical device sales, or perhaps a medical resident who just got their placement at the world-renowned Texas Medical Center? This video's for you. My name's Mariam Hejazi. I've been helping people buy and sell residential real estate for over 12 years, and I have been loving Houston since 1987. Let's get into it. Now, I have helped many people make this transition over the years, and I know that you have a very tight timeline and hard deadlines to abide by. You likely have 1 to 2 trips, 3 trips if you're lucky to Houston to figure everything out, pull the trigger on something, whether you're buying or leasing, and then you have to schedule movers so you can end up in Houston on a specified date so you can book it to the med center. Am I right? In your very limited time in Houston, you'll have to be very strategic with where you spend your time in the certain pockets of town that fit the 15-minute criteria zone. So there's going to be pockets that are good, pockets that are not so good, pockets that you'll love but will be slightly too far, and pockets that are very close, but very pricey. So what I'm going to do for you is we're going to go to a map view, and I'm just going to use my cursor and I'm going to talk you through all of the little pockets of town that are viable in that 15-minute time window. So let's get into it. All right, welcome to a beautiful map of Houston. So first of all, you are going to be flying in likely. And let's look at airport placement because this is going to be important to you because you're likely going to travel a lot. So up here, this is IAH, Intercontinental, George Bush, or Bush Intercontinental, or Bush. All of these terms are interchangeable. So here, this is a United hub. I'm sure you already know that. So there's IAH, and then down here is our second international airport, which is Hobby, and this is a Southwest hub. You know, if you're gonna live close to the med center over here, this is probably the closest, but if you are a United snob like I am, then you're going to want to drive up to Intercontinental. It's really your choice, but you should be aware of the locations of both airports and the traffic patterns. I'm going to reference traffic a million times because it's just a fact of life here in Houston. If you have to be anywhere at a certain time, at any point in time, it's very important that you understand traffic flow. Okay, so here is Loop 610. This is 610. This is the north side. This is the Galleria over here. You see all my little bookmarks because I love restaurants, so I bookmark all my favorite ones. This is Edo, or East Downtown. It is largely industrial, but there is a lot of residential development. The residential development started, I would say, a little bit before 2010. So I'd say 06 to 10 is when we started to see new houses in this area. So here is our med center, and you would probably say like, wow, this is really close. I could live over here. So yes, you can, and it is close, but you need to know that these are very old houses here. These are all going to be built in the, I don't know, maybe like 1925 to about 1940, with the majority of them being built in the 30s. This is Riverside Terrace. There are beautiful, beautiful houses here. Now, if they've been redone, amazing, but a lot of them still haven't been redone. It's still a largely gentrifying area. So you could get a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of property over here, but you're going to have to be selective, and depending on your timing, there may not be anything good on the market for you. Here, this is probably a no if you're in the medical device sales, you're a doctor, you're a surgeon, you're an RN, you're a PA, this is probably not going to be where you want to live. Same thing over here. You are going to want to concentrate basically in this area. And then over here, I wouldn't go north of Memorial just because these intersections here can get very congested. So, I mean, at traffic time, this could easily, this intersection specifically, it could take you 5 cycles to get through. So if you live here, you just have to be really conscious of your time, the time that you leave the house. So as a general statement, if you have to abide by this 15-minute time window, I would keep your search below here. If you went above it, you could be right here because you can just hop on real quick, and this is hardly ever congested. But again, these intersections, these are when you really trip up because the light cycles can be really short and the traffic can be pretty bad at different times. So this is downtown. There are no houses here. There are just buildings. So you could live in a high-rise downtown, and it just depends on if you're going to have a car or if you're going to Uber or if you're going to take public transport. Houstonians, I have another video, 11 surprises to people when they move to Houston, that I'll link in the description. But Houstonians don't really use public transportation. And so if you're a medical resident or you're a surgeon, doctor, you're coming here, I probably wouldn't recommend downtown unless you really want to live in a high rise. That is what is there, is high rises. So Midtown is a very young crowd. There's a lot going on here. There are some little pockets that are nice, but as you get closer to the major freeways, these are underpass, overpass structured, and there are homeless people that live under the overpasses. And there's like a Greyhound bus station pretty close. So there is a lot of pedestrian traffic in this area in general. The light rail is here. You're always going to have to be mindful of the tracks. Now, if you are already coming from a huge city like LA or New York or maybe Portland and Seattle, where that's normal for you, then great. But there's not a ton of that in Houston. And so Houstonians, we don't really like it. So this is like the Westheimer area. This is like, I call it like the Montrose Midtown area where they kind of meet right here, but this is going to be Montrose. This is River Oaks. Still, this is Montrose. This is going to be a great pocket for you because you can just get on Montrose and come right down, and then boom, you're going to be on Main Street. Now, I will say sometimes the traffic can be a beast on Main Street, and there is a lot of trains in this area as well, and you do have to compete with the Museum of Fine Arts and Museum of Natural Science traffic as well. And just a side note, the Astrodome is here, and so is NRG Stadium and NRG Center. The Dynamo Stadium is, sorry, that's a BMW dealership. Dynamo and where the Astros play is up here, and then everything else is down here. So the Med Center is very close to the stadiums, but you are likely not going to want to live right by the stadiums. All right, Braeswood, I love Braeswood. I think it's beautiful, but it does flood sometimes. I would say most parts of Braeswood have flooded at some point. It's interesting to know, I'm just gonna note that these houses built, so all the houses in Braeswood will have been built before 1970. And when these houses were built, they were not built in a floodplain. The floodplain came to them. And Houston is notorious for flooding, unfortunately. And it's happened more in the recent past because of all the development outside of the city. The water that would normally sit in like million-gallon water sinks outside of the city are now prematurely forced through the bayou system and out into the Gulf. So just a side note, Braeswood is going to have beautiful old houses and much larger lots.
The price point in Braeswood is going to be anywhere from like $575 all the way up to like $3 million plus. This pocket is really magical. I love this little pocket. The range for a single family home here, it's really going to start at about 1.5 million and it can go all the way up to 3 or 4 million. Now, Holcomb is going to be a major thoroughfare that you might use a lot if you live in the area. Same thing with Greenbrier and Kirby. Kirby and Greenbrier will take you back up to 59, which will help you get to other parts of Houston. Rice Village is great. You're going to want to hang out here a lot. It's a mixed-use development. There's fabulous restaurants, fabulous shopping. Of course, Rice University and the Houston Zoo is over here. Also, Herman Park is absolutely lovely. West U or West University is a great place. This is the house is outfitted or in a way that in a house that you're going to want to live in that doesn't have laundry outside in the garage, built in 1937. You're really going to have to start at like the 1.4 million right now, at least when I'm recording this video in the middle of 2025. You're really needing to start at 1.4 million, and in West U you could spend all the way up in excess of 5 million. West U, side note, does have its own police department. A lot of the West U residents really love that. So Southside Place, Braes, some of these little pockets are nice too. You're just gonna have to go street by street. This pocket over here is also nice. These are gonna be a lot of townhomes, and this is definitely viable for you to live in. I think really a hidden gem, honestly, I think Willow Meadows, Westbury, Meyerland, Bel Air, in all of this pocket right here, you can still get a very, very affordable house here. And this area is literally 13 minutes from the Med Center at almost any given time. Because if you're here, it's very easy for you to pop up to Chimney Rock and then catch Braeswood. And then you can, in this Braeswood Boulevard, North and South Braeswood, they run parallel on either side of the bayou. They are never congested. I have never been in a traffic jam on any of the Braeswoods. The only traffic jam I have been in is when a train just sits and parks at a crossing, and I have had to turn around, go back down to 610, and then find an alternate route. So trains beware in Houston. That actually happens in a couple other parts of town. So all of this really, this is all going to be viable for you. Down here is viable for you too. Bel Air is very viable. Bel Air High School, people love Bel Air High School. There are some really cool houses over here in this little area. But again, there is a lot of pedestrian traffic because look at how close you are to this major intersection of 288 and 59. I know it says 69, but we call it 59. I don't know why. That's just more eye rolls from Houston. The houses that you'll find over here are going to be multi-story townhomes or very old. They're either going to be new or built in the 30s. There are a lot of duplexes over here. So if you're interested in purchasing a fourplex or duplex and living in one of the units and renting out the other ones, that is a great idea, great solution. There are definitely lots of options over here. We just need to be strategic. This Boulevard Oaks pocket is absolutely stunning. You will definitely want to take a walk over here. I mean, 100-plus-year-old oak trees. I mean, this section by Rice University is really, really stunning. You're going to have new builds, but you're also going to have beautifully restored houses built in the 30s. These sections are also great for you. Now, going above 59 is fine. You just need to be closer to one of these major thoroughfares. So this is all very viable for you too. The River Oaks adjacent, River Oaks is also viable. Depending on traffic though, River Oaks could be more than 15 minutes. It could take you 25 minutes. So if you really have to stick with that 15-minute time window, then you just need to stay as close. You really need to be below 59. So if that 15-minute time window is like staunch, then you definitely need to be below 59 and on the medical center side of 288 right here. There are great townhomes over here. There are more brick duplexes and fourplexes built in the 30s right here. Just a side note, in Houston, the closer you are to downtown, usually the older the house is, unless it's been demoed and it's a new construction. This is all going to be like the very first construction in Houston's history. I know that we're not as old as most cities in America, but we do have a little bit of history. Rice Military is one of my favorite parts of town because of the proximity to Memorial Park. I have another walkthrough video of Memorial that you should take a look at if you're interested. It is my opinion, and you're welcome to take a gamble, but it's my opinion that Rice Military is too far. I think if you have to be in that time window, it's just too far. It's too much of a gamble for this intersection. This intersection is usually fine, but not always. It's not super duper far. I just don't want you to move in and realize it's too far away. So I would just stay south of Memorial, just as a general statement. So Edo is fine if you're an Edo type of person, and you can only figure that out if you personally come to Edo and let me show you around. Some of my favorite restaurants are over there, actually. Not Rostacks. No, not that place. Nope, not that place. I guess I just don't have it bookmarked. Nancy's Hustle and Tiny Champions is over there, and it's just like amazing. So you could live in the Galleria area, but I just wouldn't recommend it. This section of the loop is constantly congested. You could be going through West Loop South or West Loop North at 10 o'clock at night, and you could be at bumper to bumper traffic. It just depends on the time, the season, the holiday season. Oh my gosh, traffic galore. This is the Galleria. There are lots of great restaurants up and down this stretch and on Post Oak. Ruby's Kitchen, love that place. There are great townhomes in this area. And this is Tanglewood. This is the second most expensive place in Houston to live behind River. It's River Oaks, Tanglewood, and then I guess Tanglewood and Westview really kind of are neck and neck. But Tanglewood is going to be very large houses starting at $2+ million, going up to 6.7 million. I think this is too far. If you want to chance it, that's up to you. I just think it's too far because of 610. If you have more leniency in your schedule, then fine. This is beautiful. I just think it's too far. I do not think that you should be above I-10. If I'm telling you that Memorial Drive is too far, I-10 is definitely too far. So if you have to be close to the med center, you should not live above I-10 unless you're not on call. If you are in a position at the med center where you do not have to abide by that 15-minute time window, then fine. You can live north of I-10. Now, if you don't want to live in any of these places, that's fine. Your next option is like down here, like Pearland. Well, Pearland's here. You could live off of 288. You could live, I guess, in Pearland. Some people do live in Pearland. A lot of a lot of athletes, the Houston athletes live in Pearland. But you could live somewhere up and down 288. I would not go that far because Houston loves to be under construction. Yeah, so those are really my best recommendations. I mean, oof, gosh, I think even of course, like the villages are too far. They're stunning. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful, but they're just too far for you. So you're really going to want to concentrate in this area. It takes a certain buyer to be here. If you like historic homes and you want a project and you don't mind living in a neighborhood that is still in a regentrification process, then you can consider Riverside Terrace. This is going to be hit and miss street by street. So you're just going to need to drive it. This is all golden. Golden, golden, golden. Great, great, amazing, amazing. Pretty much all good here. Pretty much all good here as well. Pretty much all good here. I would stay as far away from 610 as you can be. And I would probably stay away from Bracewood, honestly. I mean, unless you're fine with taking a gamble on flooding, which I'm sure you're not. But some of these houses have been raised over the years, and there has been a lot of work done to the flood mitigation system. So if you live in Bracewood, will you flood again? Maybe. Will you never flood again? I cannot say that. I really don't know. It just depends on the storm strength. It depends on how much water it's going to be dumping on Houston as far as hurricanes. Because if you live in Houston, you will likely experience a hurricane or a tropical storm. So that's about it. I hope this really helped you figure out where you should be looking. And if you found this video because you're researching a big move to Houston, I would be honored at the chance to earn your business. So give me a call, send me a text or email or leave a comment, and I would love to connect with you and figure out where on this map you best belong. So if you're coming to Houston, welcome very soon. And as always, I will see you soon. My name is Mariam Hejazi. I've been helping people buy and sell residential real estate for over 12 years, and I have been living in Houston since 1987. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.